And thank you for your patience in the delay of the start of the normally scheduled time frame. I would like to call this meeting to order at 7:18 p.m. For the audience here tonight, and for those who may have forgotten over our long recess, I'm David Friedendahl. I'm the mayor of the city of Glendora and serve as the presiding officer over our city council meetings. I ask in consideration of others and the business conducted tonight, please silence your phones and any electronic devices. Refrain from speaking unless recognized. If you are in the audience and wish to speak during public comment, speaker cards are located at the lobby. They look like this yellow gizmochi here. And ask you to fill that out and submit it to the clerk before the end of public comment. Again, this is a public meeting for the community of Glendora. We appreciate your presence and we respect your participation. For the record, I will announce that all council members are indeed present and ready to conduct our business. And at this time, we will have our Pledge of Allegiance. I'll ask Pastor Dr. Michael Kordich from the First Baptist Church to present an invocation. Will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pastor Kordich. Please stand if you may.
Let's pray. Father, your word says that all good gifts come from you. And so, Lord, we first want to provide our thanks to you for the good gifts you give us. Lord, we also know that we have come together in this place for our council members to do business for the city, for them to hear from their constituents over many matters. Lord, today is a full house, and so I'm sure there are several who have issues on their hearts and their minds. So we pray, Lord, that your grace would be present here in all conversations and discussions. We pray, Lord, that you would that you would provide the grace needed, Lord, that there would be a sense of respect, Lord, in this place. I pray for wisdom for our council members as they make decisions for the things that they must vote on tonight. Maybe they be led by your hand and by your spirit. We do ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Kordich. And if you would join me as I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all, and I'm going to ask that we reorder the agenda to put the special items ahead of public comment, in the fact that one of our presenters is on many stops this evening, and we'd like to respect his time as well. I think before that, do we need to read out from the special session before we go? Thank you.
Council had a closed session meeting just before, which was privileged and confidential and authorized pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D2 and E1 due to significant exposure to litigation, but which the city believes are not yet known to any potential plaintiff or plaintiffs. And as such, the facts and circumstances need not be disclosed. Legal counsel gave a briefing to the council, and a discussion was had, but there was no reportable action taken.
Thank you, Mr. Aylshire. Appreciate that very much. I will now move to our special item, a presentation from the San Gabriel Valley Council of Governments 2025 President and introduced Board President and Claremont City Council member and neighbor, Mr. Ed Reese. Welcome, Mr. Reese.
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening. As you introduced, I'm Ed Reese. I proudly represent the city of Claremont and honored to serve as your new president of the San Gabriel Valley Council of Governments. Tonight, I'd like to share how the COG brings our cities together to tackle the challenges, deliver results, and make our region even stronger. Next slide, please. The COG is truly a partnership. It brings together 31 cities, 2 county supervisorial districts, and in many other local agencies in the San Gabriel Valley. Our mission is simple but powerful: to give our region one strong, unified voice, to deliver projects that improve transportation, housing, and sustainability, and most importantly, to improve the quality of life for nearly 2 million residents who call the San Gabriel Valley, and in part, this great city, their home. The collaboration is what makes us stronger than the sum of our parts. Next slide, please. Of course, a mission this big requires leadership. That's where our executive committee comes in. I'm proud to serve alongside a group of committed local leaders, including Mr. Alavos, as our second vice president. And our leaders help guide the COG's priorities. They help set the direction, review policies, and make sure our work reflects the needs and values of our member cities. In short, the executive committee and the governing board keep us grounded in the realities of our communities while keeping us focused on the future. Next slide, please. And that leadership extends outward through our policy committees. These committees are where the real collaboration happens. They focus on issues that touch every city: capital projects, the environment, homelessness, and transportation. We also draw on the expertise of city managers and working groups so that local voices shape our regional solutions. And this is where all of you come in. If you haven't already, I encourage you to get involved. Your expertise and your perspective help ensure that your city's voice is heard and your residents' needs are reflected in our regional decisions. Next slide, please. Of course, leadership and collaboration are only part of the story. Implementation matters too. That's where our staff shines. Under the leadership of Executive Director Marissa Creeder, our talented team takes ideas and churns them into action. They provide the expertise, project management, and support that make sure our city's priorities move forward. Next slide, please. Let me share just a few recent examples of collaboration that has been achieved. First, our construction authority. We're the only COG in California with one. We've delivered 19 major grade separation projects, each worth $100 to $200 million at little or no cost to our cities. And today, we're expanding to highway improvements, transit facilities, and active transportation projects. Second, SB 1383 compliance. This state law requires us to cut food waste going to landfills. The COG has helped cities triple their business compliance rates and at the same time helped food banks to be able to use the food donation they receive by providing them with refrigeration and other equipment. It's really a true win-win opportunity where we're helping the environment while addressing food insecurity. And third, Measure M funding. Last year, we directed $36.5 million to 17 San Gabriel Valley agencies for projects to make it easier and safer for people to go where they need to go. These are just a few snapshots, but they show the real tangible impact the COG has on our communities. Next slide, please. And beyond these regional wins, we also partner directly with cities in unique ways. Specifically, with the city of Glendora, we're a funding partner. The COG Governing Board awarded a $4.9 million Measure M funding to Glendora's People Movement Project. We also help around project management. The COG is managing this major active transportation project covering outreach, environmental compliance, and construction management. The project will improve connections to the new metro station, enhance green space access, and keep Glendora's streets safe and attractive. Glendora was also a founding partner in the broader, what we call the SMIP initiative, which extends similar improvements across the A-line extension cities, including my own city of Claremont. The third thing I'd like to highlight is regional planning. The COG is leading the creation of the Community Wildfire Protection and Recovery Plans. The plans help cities prepare for and respond to wildfires. And the adoption of these plans makes the city eligible for critical state wildfire funding programs. Thanks to CAL FIRE grants, Secured by the COG, this effort is fully funded and free to cities. I shared some examples specific to your city, but the bigger point is this. The COG is dedicated to meeting you where you are, to support your local priorities, and also build something bigger in the region. Next slide, please. At the heart of all this is what binds us together, our shared love for the San Gabriel Valley. That is why I launched the iHeart SGV program. It grew from my deep belief that we are stronger when we celebrate our common values and the communities we call home. This program is about bringing our member cities, and through them, our residents, together in a shared pride and appreciation for the San Gabriel Valley. For me, it's also personal. My love of public service is soul-feeding, and this program is a way of me showing gratitude for our region, for our cities, and for the people who make the San Gabriel Valley such a special place to live. The COG exists to serve you, our councils, your staff, your residents. By working together, our collective voice is louder, our reach is farther, and we can deliver projects and services that no city can do alone. As president, my #1 priority right now is listening. I want to hear from you, your needs, your challenges, your opportunities, so that we can make sure you're getting the most from your involvement with the COG. So, please don't hesitate to reach out to me directly. I'm committed to working with you to keep strengthening the San Gabriel Valley that we all love. Thank you for allowing me some time today, and we would be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Reese, and I can't help but notice you surrounded yourself with some of that leadership talent that you work with so well, and we thank them all. We're easy. As a president of the COG, I ask as the mayor of Glendora, help us get the money we deserve from Measure A. We're easy. We'll only take 50% of what we generate. So as a COG, maybe the 31 cities can be a big voice in helping do that. So thank you very much. Anyone else have any questions or comments?
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you for making the time to come see Glendora.
You're welcome, and I thank you. I appreciate you moving me up on the agenda. I do have to go to the Duarte and provide a presentation to Duarte as well. I just came from Sierra Madre and did La Puente this morning, so it is a grand circle
You
tour.
haven't figured out that continuous move, your back and forth thing. That's expensive.
It is, but you know, as council meetings are, they can fit me in certain spots. But as you can see, I'm wearing the iHeart SGV pin, and tonight I will leave them with you.
Mr. Mayor, is it okay if we have staff come up with Ed and take a picture with all of council?
Love to, please.
That'd be great. So the
Guys.
pins are left for you, one for each of you and your city manager. And but thank you so much.
Please. A wonderful partnership with the COG indeed. So thank you very much. Next item is a presentation from the Glendora Hospital on their upcoming expansion plans. And to present, I would like to invite Chief Executive Officer Anthony Quintero to present. Mr. Quintero, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you giving me the time. I just wanted to give the council an update. Last December, I was here asking for support for an expansion of Glendora Hospital. The state of California, specifically the Mental Health Services Oversight and Advisory Committee, was providing $3.4 billion in funding across the state in various areas. Unfortunately, we didn't get that funding. However, because we felt so strongly about the need within the community for mental health beds, we're going to continue with that expansion. And I just want to give you a little bit of an update, a little bit of a reminder. College Health is it's family-owned, formed in 1973. We've never divested a hospital. Any facility we purchase, we buy the facility, we buy the land, and we've never divested one. So, strong company. It's going to continue to grow, not only across the U.S., but here in Glendora as well. So currently we're licensed for 63 beds. As I mentioned before, our census daily is about 61 to 63, so our occupancy rate is 96% or greater every day. And that just shows you how difficult it is for patients to get beds, because we always hear about our emergency departments being overcrowded with mental health patients. So this expansion certainly is going to, we believe, help. Right here is essentially the floor plan. As a reminder, the red and the blue areas that are circled, those are the only 2 open units right now. So the areas that are in the lavender and yellow and light green are part of the expansion project. Those will be turned into patient care beds. The first one is a 21-bed adult unit. That's at the very north side of the hospital. You can see there at the very top. The north side would be the one facing Route 66. After that, we've got Unit B, geriatric and adolescents. That'll be a flex unit, so it'll be able to accommodate either geriatric patients or adolescent patients, depending on the need at any given time. It won't commingle those patients. It'll be either one or the other. And then lastly, we have Unit C, which will be adult and geriatrics. So again, quite a huge difference from 63 to 154 beds. We're also going to be doing some outpatient services. But what I want to talk about today was the milestones that have already started. We had a group of contractors come out, give bids. We signed a contract with Snyder Langston. They came out, started a pre-construction phase. We signed an agreement with them on July 14th. So within that first 90 days, they're doing some pre-construction work. They're looking at the facility. They're starting to poke some holes in walls, looking in the ceilings, just to see kind of what's hidden in there. We've all had construction projects at our home or other places where once you open walls, you find things you didn't discover before. So that has started. They are actually going to be job bidding for subcontractors next week. And you can see here we've also started asbestos abatement on the 11th. That's going to take roughly 3 weeks, but after that, we're ready for sledgehammers and ready to start construction. So we're very excited about it. It's going to be a phased approach. Again, part of this challenge was because we didn't get the funding from the state. It's roughly a $50 million project. We want to open up units as soon as we can to start generating some revenue to pay for the rest of the construction. So we're hopeful to start seeing beds open up in about 8 months. As a reminder, because it was a general acute care hospital before, the structure is largely staying intact. It's just repurposing those rooms, so it shouldn't take that long. We expect the whole project to take roughly 16 months. So again, first unit to open up in 8, and then to finish up by Q2 of 2027. This is an aerial view of the hospital. The only impact outside of the hospital that we're going to see is probably this construction yard. That will likely start getting used in about a month. It's going to impact our neighbors a little bit because we have allowed them to park in this lot while it's empty. We'll continue to do that. We'll just have to move them to a little bit of a different area. But, we want to be a good neighbor, so we'll speak with the neighbors and let them know that this change is coming up as well. We do have construction entrances on the top and the bottom, so the north and south end of the hospital. Again, there is very little impact to the community. I think we've done our due diligence. We have, again, we've gotten your feedback. We've worked very well with Moises, Chief Randazzo. We appreciate their feedback and support, and we're just moving forward. So I just wanted to give the council an update. The letter support you provided was tremendous, and we really appreciate that. Although we weren't successful, again, we're moving forward with the plans, and we'll keep the council updated, and we appreciate your support going forward. If you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Quintero. Appreciate the update, and we look forward to the process and completion when you can have a nice ribbon cutting for us.
Yes,
It'd be great.
absolutely. We'll have the council members
Are
out
there
for
any
ribbon cutting.
questions? Mr. Thompson?
Yes, thank you. Sure. And let's get it done quickly, and I'm sure our city staff will help that. Staffing-wise, what expansion of staff are you
So,
going to see?
and that's, part of the beauty, especially for the tax base. We are going to be almost tripling in size, so that's going to be a tripling, if not higher, for our staff. So right now, we have roughly 300 employees.
Wow.
But the part of the way we tackle and utilize the economies of scale is we share leadership with some of our other sister facilities in Long Beach and Cerritos. And that's because we're at 63 beds. But when we're at 154, we're not going to be able to share those resources because we're going to need more commitment here. So again, it's going to help tremendously. Even though it's not completely tripling in size, it'll triple in staffing.
Great.
Because of that shared resource is going to have to come over here full time.
Wow. That's great. Thank you.
We're looking forward to it.
Very good.
All righty.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, council members.
Thank you for that. And now we'll move to our public comment period, an open public comment. At this time, again, invite members that wish to speak to fill out a speaker card, and once recognized, come up and speak. You will have 3 minutes to talk about any subject on or off agenda, and invite you to come up and do so. And remember, we do have a respectful decorum that we hope and trust everyone will behave with. So with that, open public comment, and the first speaker card I have is Mr. John Harold. Mr. Harold, welcome.
Good evening. Again, my name is John Harold, and I live in Glendora. I've been extremely busy working on a very serious lawsuit that I've been working on for over 4 years. But I've been receiving phone calls from people who I trust and who I know in town about their concerns. The issue seems to be, I guess you call it the Glendora Station vision. Unfortunately, from what I've heard about it, it appears to be more like a nightmare. And I feel like it's deja vu. I've stood on this very location and spoke before councils numerous times trying to preserve the quality of life in Glendora. We just finished the flashback, which was wonderful, and I appreciate anybody who dropped by and saw my 68 Mustang. But the concern that people were telling me again is how much they want Glendora to stay the way it is. Now, I've had the privilege of being involved in politics in this town over 4 decades. I think I have seniority over everybody here. I think just about in the building, probably. And it's always been the same issue. And that issue is the protecting of Glendora. This vision that you're working on, I've already heard the rumblings that I'm going to hear that it's the state making the decisions. Like I said, I've been a lawyer for 37 years. I have been both in government and out of government. I've been involved in extensive litigation on both sides and have won on both sides. The state of California does not have the ability to destroy the quality of life in Glendora. The same issue that I've brought up here numerous times in front of numerous people is that we cannot have this uncontrolled development. I'll never forget Art Cook, and that name goes a long time ago, telling me how worried he was every single Super Bowl game that everybody would flush their toilets at the same time and that all the pipes would explode. Because when I was there, I tried to get the pipes repaired. They've never been repaired to the extent that they need to. Water, same thing. I can hear, I'm tired of during certain periods, I'm told when to wash my car and when not to wash my car, because you should never have a dirty Mustang. And we don't have enough water in Glendora. Now, the state has power, but you know who has more power? The federal government. And as someone who's been in state government for 40 years just about, the federal government has the power. The federal government can determine what development is done by the state. They cannot make you spend more than you have. We don't have the water, we don't have the sewer. And all it takes is the cities. You have your clogs, which are very nice. Well, you need one of city lawyers, city attorneys to work together to work with the federal government to make sure. I just came back from Cambria. We go there each and every year. And for some reason, Cambria gets away with doing a reasonable development because of the number of water meters that are issued. The
Thank you.
state doesn't make water.
Thank you, Mr. Harold. Next up, I'd like to invite Alicia Cole. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name's Alicia Cole, and I live in Glendora Village, and I work in Glendora Village. So it is an extension of my living room. First, I want to address the removal and repurposing of the antique streetlights from our neighborhoods. I understand, I went door to door. I heard the public. I don't know if you actually heard the public. There was a huge distrust of government, of you, and what would happen. So these lights are part of the historical character of Glendora Avenue, and their removal has left our streets, my neighborhood, and everyone that walks down Glendora Avenue in the dark. This isn't just about aesthetics, it's about safety. Our families, our children, and our neighborhoods walk these streets every evening, yet the city has taken the lights, and I understand everyone voted it out, but the city has taken our lights from our neighborhoods to install them, now I hear, along below Foothill to the train station. So an area that already has lighting is gonna have now my historic streetlights. So why are we stripped of our lights that already are on a well-lit area that is gonna be made brighter while we sit in darkness? And if the concern's funding, then let the new developments that are all proposed pay for it. So don't take existing neighborhoods. We deserve the protection, the charm, the safety of our streetlights that were originally placed in front of our homes, and at least give us a chance to buy them back and pay for it ourselves. The second is the Glendora Station Vision Plan that we've all been hearing about. I want to be clear, I fully support, as a realtor, future homes and development in our neighborhoods. We need it, and I think probably Shauna and I know more than anyone the lack of housing and the shortage and how that affects just everyday people, our kids, trying to find a place to live. But how have you come to this decision with this plan? Who have you reached out to? The city claims extensive outreach was done. Show me how and who. I've been told a total of 50 people were included in making this decision, yet how many of those 50 people voted for this? How many were opposed to it? You said you've reached out to everyone within a half a mile of the train station. I'm literally a stone's throw from Hilltop. I don't get any closer to the train and housing. So who have you reached out to? I got no letter, I got no phone call, no email, no knock on the door. And Shauna knows well, it's all about, in real estate, disclosure, giving out this information. I got none. So in this case and in these locations, it has to be appropriate for the village if you're gonna build. This project, as proposed, raises, I'm done?
Sorry.
Oh, I guess I like to talk too. Can I go or no, I'm done?
No, I need to
Okay.
stick with our time. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Cole. Linda Herman. Ms. Herman in? There she is. Welcome.
Hi, good evening. I'm here about the Glendora Station Vision Plan. Almost 1,300 doors in a half-mile area, and it's safe to assume behind those doors will be 2 people and probably 2 autos. How can that not affect that half-mile area? How can you protect the current living standards that we have in place now? Moreover, all of those apartments and condos that are going to be built, it will be a tunnel that the train will run through in the city. And I don't know how anybody on that train, considering where the station is, will be able to see what's going on in the city. You won't be able to see through concrete buildings. They won't know what's downtown. They don't know what's there. The passengers will not know what lies north of that tunnel. What will encourage them to get off the train and walk downtown and patronize the villages, businesses, and restaurants? I don't know. To see how much of a tunnel that can create, one only needs to go to Monrovia. I think it's reasonable to assume that these condos and apartments will reach 3-4 stories. If a developer is awarded density bonuses, we could be looking at what, 7-8 stories? I don't think that's going to go over well. What is reasonable to assume is that the majority of the population in Glendora has no clue what's going on, none. They don't know the nuts and bolts of this plan because they haven't been advised of it. I understand the people that live in this half-mile bubble were given some advance notice of meetings and what's going on, but the rest of us did not. And that development is not going to affect just that half a mile. It's going to affect all of Glendora. We all drive through here. We all will be impacted by this. How do you get out information to people beyond the bubble? I think it's pretty easy. Put a notice of the meetings in the water bill. We all get one. Just put it into the water bill. The vision plan or wish list that you have, I would guess that if 1 in 10 people knew about that, that would be a lot. I know that the general plan is going to be looked at soon, and I sincerely hope that the things that people are objecting to tonight and future nights will not end up on that plan. And I hope I get this in. Parking in and around the commercial areas in this town is a nightmare. And if you put in more that's going to take up spots, you're going to have people get very creative about where they can park and how they're going to do it. And
Thank you,
I
Mrs. Herman.
think that is a nightmare. Thank you.
All right, hope I get this correct. TJ Santarelli? Did you okay? Thank you, sir. Welcome.
Thank you. I've been a resident here with my wife and kids for 37 years. And the first time I heard about what's going on was last Friday, before the flashback. And I was livid about what could be possibly happening. So I made sign-up sheets and I talked to Michael. Thank you, Michael, for helping me about getting me what's going on. And as people were passing by my 68 Camaro, I was telling them possibly the 3-story at Bennett and possibly the 4 or 5-story where the 99-cent store is, and people were appalled. And we got a lot of signatures, over probably 150. So this past Saturday, I walked the street and I started up top where the boys' cleaner is, and I asked them if they knew there would be a potential apartment across the street, and they said no. I went to 222. They didn't know about it. And I went to the Desire jewelry shop. They had no idea. I talked to Larry's computer. He had no idea. So who's sending out this information? And where is it going if people are supposed to know what's happening here? It's atrocious what's been going on with the apartments on Route 66 built right up to the sidewalk. I mean, prior to the foothills, where are they? You can't see them. There's 5 stories down past the Tony's Automotive. And when people if they build these, it's my understanding, the apartment builder doesn't have to put underground parking. They're just going to have people at the residence park on the street. My wife doesn't come here to shop anymore because she drives around looking for a place to park. It's ridiculous. If you're going to do anything, put a 2-story parking structure off of Buena Vista and let people park down there and pay $1 to park. You're just crowding this street out. And same with the restaurants that are putting tables and chairs on Glendora Avenue, taking up even more parking places. It's just ridiculous. So I'm against any more building apartment buildings. It's just ruining the aesthetics of our city. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Santarelli. Mr. John Fields. Welcome, John.
Good evening, council, staff, other folks here who have taken the time to come out and talk about the issue. I'm here to talk about the Glendora Station travesty as well. And I'm going to do this in two parts. On the project itself, I've been told, oh, don't worry, John, it's a concept. It's just a plan. There's nothing approved, nothing going to happen. Well, that's how Avalon started. And, well, a lot of people were against that, and it was just a concept. It's just a plan, just an idea, just a design plan. And the next thing you know, there's 4 stories, on the corner there. So what I want to first say is I want to tell you a little story, okay? The Fields family moved to Glendora in 1959, okay? And the reason they moved to Glendora, my mom grew up in San Francisco, my dad grew up in LA, and they grew up in the city. And they wanted to get out and did everything in their power to move to a nice, quiet, sleepy little town like Glendora. And guess what? We all love it that way. That's why we're here. That's why it's the pride of the foothills, okay? We don't need to catch up with anybody. We don't need to turn it into Glendale where you've got skyscrapers everywhere and you can't park anywhere. This is my hometown. This is my pride and joy. And I know it is yours too. And all I can think of is that maybe all the information hasn't been provided. Maybe you guys are opposed to it, but that hasn't been communicated well. I gotta believe it's something along those lines, because I know most of you personally, and I was a little surprised to hear that the way this went through. And in a sense, that's my second issue. Apart from the plan, the design, the whole station plan itself, is how this was handled. I try to stay on top of city stuff for the last probably 60 years practically. And I know the pulse of the city pretty well. I know the people pretty well. And man, this one, by and large, got by me. And so I did a little bit of research and found out that, well, there were some invitations mailed out to people in the area, and what I'm hearing is they didn't even get those. And then I thought about it too. So let's say it was mailed out to the businesses in the village, okay, to get their input on what they think of this. Well, if I own a business in the village, and I may or may not even live in Glendora, okay, I'm going to probably think kind of favorably on 3,000 new people coming in within a few blocks to, be part of my business. So anyway.
Thank you, Mr.
Thanks,
Fields.
folks.
Sorry, we're
I'll
out
be
of
there
time.
Thursday night.
Mr. Max Duffy? Oh, my apologies. Welcome, Max.
Good evening, Mayor Frendahl and esteemed council members. My name is Max. I'm a current resident of West Covina, but I was raised here in Glendora. I went to St. Dorothy's and St. Lucy's Catholic School. My parents still live here, and I consider it my home. This is a very quiet and tight-knit community. Unfortunately, many people want to wall themselves off here and not think about politics outside of this little town. But federal raids on immigrants are invading the safe haven we've built here. People live in fear that they'll be kidnapped at their place of work by masked men and separated from their families. Speakers outside were just preaching about loving thy neighbor, and a man felt emboldened to scream and make obscene gestures at us. You as leaders have the opportunity to show up publicly and demonstrate that that's not how we in Glendora welcome people who are different than us. Being raised here, I know that this community wouldn't function without our immigrant population. I'm asking you to come out in support of the California Values Act and promise that our police will not comply with the federal attacks on our immigrant population. We can continue to be a strong, dignified city if we come out in support of all people who make this town the pride of the foothills. Thank you.
Thank you, Max. Mr. Matt Bartlett, here he is.
Thank you, Mayor Friedendahl, and thank you, council members, for allowing me to speak tonight. My name is Matt Bartlett, and I live in Glendora. I have been a realtor in the city for 23 years, over 23 years, and I'm here to talk about the Station Area Vision Plan that has since been approved by the council. I do believe that the city needs to change. I'm not against all change. And I do believe we need more housing. I mean, that's just a reality. But this plan, I just don't feel is right for the city. It's not the proper vision for our city. We're moving too fast, and I believe we can do much better. And furthermore, the community engagement just has not been good enough. I mean, that's pretty clear from tonight. We've got a petition circulating with well over 400 names on it. And this has just been a fast and furious. I know you guys have worked hard to get the word out to the community, and I know the city staff has done that, you know. And you're all friends of mine. I've known you for many, many years. I know you love the city, and I know you want the best for it. I just am asking you tonight to open this back up, change your votes from last month, open this plan back up to the community and allow it to engage with you more. They want to be a part of this plan. They want to be a part of the future planning, okay? We don't need to move this fast. The current plan on the books, we're good up until 2029. We don't need to move so quick, all right? And you have my support. I frankly don't care what the politicians up in California, up in Sacramento say. I really could care frickin' less. It's not what they want. It's what everyone here wants. And I'm just asking for more engagement, more opportunity, and more time to put a better plan together. That's all I'm doing. And we can make a better plan, work together, and build a better future for the city of Glendora. Thank you all tonight for letting me speak.
Thank you, Matt. John David Martinez. That's you.
Ooh, there's a lot of topics online. Well, first, I want to thank each and every one of you for showing up for us. There's a lot of things going on in our community. I'm a little disappointed as somebody who's lived here for over 35 years, maybe, yeah, over 35 years. And we're kind of talking about the train and stuff like that when we have people's rights and their life on the line. It makes me disappointed because I know some of you guys are better than that. But I want to thank each of you council members for showing up for us each and every day. And I know sometimes it's not easy, but I've seen some of you guys, and you guys do it, and I thank you. And you guys you guys don't know how much it means to each and one of us. You guys showing your faces, and we have different opinions sometimes, yes. But I'm going to say something that we don't have to like everyone, but we should love everyone. And if we want to keep that in mind, it would take us a long way in our community. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. Terry Merrick? Terry here? Is he outside maybe? I can't see. Is there a large group outside?
She's coming in, but
Oh, move. Well, she is the back. She's the last card I have. Is there anyone that wished to speak that did not place a card, but we did get a comment sent from, yes. If you sent us a comment earlier in the day and it's in the packet, I don't believe that you can speak a second time. Tanya, stay put. Is Terry coming? She said she was. Okay, you're up.
I'll make it brief. Thank you very much, Honorable Mayor, members of the council. Thank you, staff. First and foremost, I just wanted to especially thank each of you and the staff members for assisting our group with our tonight's vigil out on the corner. It was very successful, in our opinion, and I hope that it means a lot to residents. Many of the residents by the way, I'm a 35-year resident, raised my son, have neighbors that are immigrants, family that are immigrants. They're all around us. They're your neighbors and my neighbors in our community. So with this vigil out on the corner in support of immigrant rights and support of families, residents, and as their kids are going back to school, I want to make sure that we can do every single thing available. One of the first things I want to do is see if we can get some resources listed up on the website. Just make some lives simpler. It's super easy to do. We have the resource. That way families in need could find out where to go get assistance. That being said, I hope that council can be supportive. This is about human dignity and, not separating families, realizing due process is necessary, and doing whatever we can. It's the human approach, as we all are human. So I would really like to see that. Thank you to Councilmember Davis for being out there and being supportive tonight as well. We appreciate that. Would love to see others doing the same, and hopefully we can get some information available out on the website. Let me see if I missed anything, because I have a whopping 125. Nope, I got it all, and I thank you very much. Have a great night.
Thank you, Tanya. Has Terry made it to the... She bringing popcorn?
It's always a good time with this. Hold on tight.
Yeah, that's a fair ask. Is there anyone else wishing to add it?
Do I need to fill out a full card?
After your comment, yes.
After the comment, okay, that works for me. Sure.
I'm sorry.
Hang on, we're going to let this gentleman go through and let you catch your breath.
Yep.
You got 30 seconds, by the way, Terry said it. No. Sir, welcome.
My name is Devin Wemple. I spoke at the last city council. First off, I just want to thank you guys for letting me finish. I know I went more over than I meant to, for sure. Just want to offer that appreciation for that amount of respect for that admittedly very difficult speech that I gave last time. I know that you have heard about many people's concerns about these ICE raids. You obviously know my thoughts. I think all I really have to say is I am waiting to see, and I am unfortunately, I think, maybe seeing already what side the people who are leading me are on, because I do think that things are escalating rapidly and horrifically. We see more political violence. We see more calls for political violence from politicians, which is insane. And I don't see how people in power here or anywhere are not immediately condemning those kinds of things, not from this council that I know of, but just in general. I admittedly have no interest in being led by cowards. I have no interest in being led by villains, and I have no interest in being led by people who are ignorant to the pains of the most oppressed people in our communities. And I hope that I don't see that at all up here. I hope that you, with the power that you do have, choose to stand up for people who have none. And that's all I really ask. But I can call it there.
Thank you, Devin. If you kindly leave us a card with your autograph, that'd be great. Ms. Merrick.
Hi, I'm sorry I missed it. We had a vigil outside, and I know you guys couldn't be there because you were in a special council, but these vigils are happening throughout San Gabriel Valley, and I hope that you will attend them. They are really quite inspiring. There are leaders of faith there. There are community organizers, people that are just serving other people. I'm asking, I feel like the woman that just in the scriptures just keeps knocking on the door. Knock, knock, knock. Irritating, irritating, irritating. My nephew spoke last time, Jackson Glaze. And I mean, it's accusatory and I don't like it, but it is hard to understand. We all see what's happening, and it's going to get worse before it gets better. It really is. With the money that is available now, they are offering young people $50,000 as a sign-up bonus to become ICE agents. They've promised that they will wipe out 60,000 of your student loans. We couldn't wipe it out before, but apparently we can now if you will agree to be part of this agency. I've seen, you've seen, I witnessed it. Soldiers in the streets down in LA. They're now in LA, and we've been told they're ready to come and planning to come to other cities. This is not, my heavens, how many times have I heard, we don't want to lose our Mayberry feel in this town. Well, you're going to lose it when you see people walking around in the town. That's not a town I want to live in. That's not a world I want to live in. I don't want my granddaughter, my grandsons, some of whom are biracial, to grow up in that town. I have friends that are afraid to leave their home. I have friends that are U.S. citizens that are afraid to leave their homes. This is not our city. This is not our country. And I know there's only so much y'all can do. There's only so much any of us can do, but we got to do it. And we got to pray that there is a God that will multiply our fishes. So I'm calling on everyone that's listening, you all, join us. Do what we know we need to do to love our neighbors. And don't say, who's my neighbor? Because Jesus told you that's the wrong question. The right question is, whose neighbor will you be?
Thank you, Mrs. Merrick. Okay, I believe that concludes our public comment session. Thank you all for sharing.
Mayor?
Yes.
For the record, Bob Moore withdrew his public comment, and we also received one correspondence for public comment that has been incorporated in the agenda, distributed to the legislative body, and made available to the public.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, with that, I'll bring it back to members for statements and invite Shauna to begin. Welcome, Shauna.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Not much for me, just glad to be back. Hope everybody had a great summer and looking forward to getting back to the business of the city.
Thank you very much. Karen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you to everyone that has come tonight to share your thoughts, and especially thank you to those who continue to stand alongside and to speak up for those who otherwise maybe could not speak for themselves. So thank you for continuing to show compassion and care to your neighbors. an opportunity that we have to come together. You know, when there are challenging times, we see that people look beyond differences. September 11th was one of those days when people were united, didn't care if there was an R or a D next to your name, didn't care the color of your skin, your religion, that you saw a need and you came together. And so perhaps that same unification to help those in need will continue. On September 11th, we will be uniting once again as a community to remember, because we should never forget those who perished that day. So 6 p.m., September 11th, in front of City Hall, we will be having our annual remembrance service, and the community is invited to be part of that. And may that same spirit of love, care, and compassion be apparent every day as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Mendel.
Mr. Mayor, thank you. And I also want to say thank you to each and every one that was here and shared. I want to encourage you that Thursday night at 6:30, Bidwell Forum, there's going to be a joint meeting between the council and planning on objective building guidelines. It's a part of how we view things and how things are built. And I would encourage those that are curious or who are very skilled in that area to come and be a part and engage. And I'm sure that there will be ample time for everybody that wants to speak to obviously be heard. And on the vision plan, this is going to be a long haul. And that is not said to minimize anybody that was here. You are being heard. We are available. I've got lunch free for the next week or two. So, Matt, if you want to have lunch, just let me know where you want to meet. And, not that I need lunch, but we are all out there to listen and hear what people say, but I can assure you that it's going to be a long haul with many, many votes. And again, that's not to minimize the feelings that we've heard and that we'll continue to hear. Those are good thoughts and warranted thoughts, but just know there's going to be a long, long road before anything is set. And so I hope that we can show grace and mercy and interaction, and let us know whenever you want to talk. School is back, so please make sure that you watch for children, especially new kids that are going to school. Keep your speed down, stay off of the phone. I know I've seen some friends get stopped, and I've heard the angry expression, "Oh man, I got stopped." Well, you probably got stopped because maybe it saved your life or somebody else's life. So let's just all kind of lean in and make sure that we're aware of everybody that's going around. And speaking of school, the high school football team will open things up on Friday night, and their game starts at 7 o'clock at Citrus, and I'm hopeful the band will be there. I'm not sure, but that's always a fun time. So come out and enjoy the fellowship, the fun of watching kids play and cheer, and maybe you'll get to talk to some people that are new. So with that, thank you.
Thank you, Mendel. Michael.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to request that we close our meeting this evening in memory of former Mayor Lois Shade. She passed away at the age of 81 on Sunday, August 17th. Lois Shade served on the Glendora City Council for 13 years as a second woman to serve on the City Council, including one term as Glendora's first female mayor. Her tenure was marked by commitment to fiscal responsibility, community engagement, and transparent governance. She was a vocal advocate for infrastructure improvements and neighborhood preservation, often championed residents concerned in the city planning and development matters. Mayor Shea was also one of the original architects and implementers of the City of Glendora's MoCA City relationship. A graduate of the California State University Long Beach with a degree in marketing communications, Lois brought both strategic and insight, strong communication skills to her public role. She was a regular columnist for San Gabriel Valley Examiner, where she often shared commentary on local and state politics, including support for Proposition 6 to repeal the gas tax. Her civic involvement extended beyond city borders. Lois was a district-level director or delegate to the 2016 Republican National Convention representing California and supporting the party's nominees under the state party rules. She also ran for a seat on Charter Oak School Board, driven by concerns over school district transparency, budget oversight, and environmental compliance in local construction projects. Lois will be remembered not only for her leadership in Glendora, but also for her tireless advocacy, her voice in public discourse, and her dedication to holding institutions accountable. She leaves behind a legacy of integrity, service, and community spirit. On a lighter note, so this last, a week ago, I guess today, we welcomed to our city Congressman Gil Cisneros. And I was able to get a hat, a keychain, some postcards, and a pin. I was asked to welcome him to our city. The mayor was out of town and was not able to make it, so I stepped into his stead. And we had kind of a bit of a fun time. I gave him the hat with our new logo and everything. And since it's still summer, keep the sun out of his eyes. I gave him a keychain and I gave him a pin, and I said, use this pin to sign some legislation to bring money back to the district, and we'll maybe get you a key to go on the end of that keychain. And the postcards that I gave him, then you can write all about it. And it was a nice event, and there's about 50 folks there and everything of that nature, and it was a nice event. I was really grateful that the partnership chose Glendora to come over here and do this. On another note, I'd like to congratulate my daughter and son-in-law. They just welcomed their 4th baby into the world, Maeve. They're joined by Penelope, Simon, and our little one. She's just Clara Clementine. I just can't say enough. She's just stole my heart. But again, I like to thank them for it. I like to spend more time with them. Sometimes it's more difficult. But they live here in town, which is a great thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael. Did you get him that television yet?
Working on it.
Okay. Welcome back, everybody. I know it's been a long recess that we had, a summer break that typically try to work in annually. I know that staff used the time to accomplish great things without having to host each of us every day. So that was a nice break, I'm sure. And I know that in the near future, we will get to see the fruits of their work and their efforts. And tonight, one of those is coming about. So with that, please. Oh, Mr. Ellis?
If you wouldn't mind. A little special accommodation to our chief. Apparently last Saturday, they had a checkpoint here in town, and a former resident here went to the gas station, flipped a U. He was going to go back onto the freeway, and of course went through the checkpoint, and the chief was there, and serviced him and helped him, and he recognized him, and he was impressed that the chief is actually there at the checkpoint with his folks there. So congratulations, thank you very much for being a team player with your folks. I had to mention that.
Very good. PD is always boots on the ground. That's absolutely great leadership. With that, I'll bring it back, Mr. Raymond. Any
Good evening, everyone. Just a quick reminder, in the mail recently, you should have received the activity guide to sign up for events around town. We also have some information about our schools and city services and information around the future A-Line station. Also, in that issue, we talked about 2 employees, one of which recently retired, Ms. Stone, our library director, and future retiree John Aguirre of our community services. Similar to the Mayor Pro Tem, I asked my kids in our family chat every week what I should update the Glendorans about. And my daughter and I said, I'm sure everyone knows that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce were engaged today, but she wanted me to mention that. And my son wanted to mention that hopes it doesn't hurt his fantasy football draft. So I told them I would share those updates at the council meeting tonight. And with that, I have nothing further.
I'm not sure who's more disappointed, the women over Travis or the men over, Taylor. Okay.
It's down the middle.
It is, okay, all right. Excitement for all. All righty, very good. On to some good business. At this point, we will open a public hearing to conduct a public hearing to consider a resolution adopting a tentative tract map number 84681 and development plan for 41 single-family detached residential homes at 263 South San Jose Avenue, AIN numbers 8655007 to 900, 8655007 to 901, 865507902, and 8655021 900. Sure glad I had 6 weeks off to say all that. Located at the terminus of San Jose Drive and Woodland Lane in Glendora, California. Project number PLN 24-0045. The applicant is the Olson Company. Property owner is the city of Glendora. I open the public hearing and invite Senior Planner Yeleni Siva to present. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor Freendahl and Council. The project before you is from the applicant, the Olson Company, which is a request for a tentative tract map to subdivide 4 existing parcels into 41 residential detached single-family homes. In addition, a development plan review for the project's development plans, and also an SB 330 application for early vesting for overall fees and the streamlining of the entire process. The project is also being filed as a categorical exemption per CEQA. This is the project location, which is located north of Route 66, east of Lorraine Avenue, south of Foothill, west of the Big Dalton Wash, and just north of an existing city yard. The project site is currently a city-owned property, which is currently under escrow with the applicant, the Olson Company. The State Surplus Land Act and the State Department of Housing and Community Development allowed the city to list the property for sale to developers who would set aside 15% of new homes to moderate income households. The City Council has supported the sale of this property. 7 of the proposed 41 homes will be available for purchase to moderate income qualified buyers. State law allows developers to request concessions, waivers, and incentives. For this project, these include reduced parking pursuant to government state code, reduced lot area, lot width, depth, and reduced setbacks, additional building height for second floor areas, and reduced numbers of parking spaces. This is the proposed site plan, which shows an extension of both Woodland Lane and San Jose Drive, proposing 41 detached units and 3 open space areas. A traffic study was prepared to analyze the project's circulation and overall safety. The traffic engineer is here to answer technical questions regarding the traffic study itself, and the traffic study studied 9 intersections and a traffic signal was not warranted by the study. With the extension proposed, vehicle trips are better dispersed through the neighborhood, and the project estimates approximately 29 daily AM trips and 39 daily PM trips. San Jose Drive is currently a dead-end street with no turnaround, which currently does not comply with LA County fire standards. Woodland Lane would provide secondary access to San Jose Drive for overall improved safety. The proposed landscape plan here provides 3 open space areas and the retaining of a number of existing trees throughout the site. These are elevations that show a contemporary architecture style for the proposed units. This is the street view rendering. A public notice was mailed out to property owners within 300 feet of the site on the 14th of August. A notice published in the San Gabriel Valley Examiner, and notices were posted at the site on notification boards. The proposed resolution inadvertently included verbiage that doesn't apply to the project on page 12, condition of approval number 45. The last sentence of this condition of approval will be stricken from the resolution. Therefore, staff recommends that the City Council approve the amended resolution requesting a tentative tract map and development plan review to develop 41 detached residential homes at the subject site. Thank you.
Green button. Thank you, Yelena. At this time, I would like to invite Mr. Vice President Brian Geis from the Olson Company to come up and present. We will offer you 10 minutes time, sir.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Good evening, council members. My name is Brian Geis with the Olson Company. Thank you, Yeleni, for a thorough and informative staff report. I have a brief presentation to cover a few additional items that we feel are important for the council to know. First, just a little bit about our company. The Olson Company has been developing in urban locations for 36 years. We are a 10-time winner of the Alliant Award for Customer Service in the home building industry. The Alliant Award tracks data nationwide for over 200 home builders, including publicly traded home building companies. This year, we were named #1 in customer service, purchase experience, and ownership experience nationwide. In each community we develop, we implement our Champion program, which pairs an Olson representative with the Homeowners Association for a 10-year period. A little bit about the process. The city first met with the community back in the spring of 2023 regarding the property prior to Olson being selected. The Olson Company also held 3 community meetings with neighbors to discuss the proposed community. The meetings were held in an open house format on Saturdays between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. at the Williams Community Center. At the meeting, we covered the history and timeline of the property sale. We also shared the site plan as it was developed with the community, and we logged community concerns expressed at the meetings. We covered the timing, the process, and the laws governing the sale, which Yeleni had mentioned briefly. We also communicated how the city was successful in reducing the overall unit count from 54 homes to 41 homes. This was crucial to keep the proposed project within the established community character of the surrounding lower density neighborhoods. In addition to the Surplus Land Act and State Density Bonus Law, 2 other important laws are relevant. The Housing Accountability Act back from 1982 put significant financial penalties in place if a city wrongfully restricts housing developments. The Housing Crisis Act followed much later in 2019 with clarifications on unit count calculations, vested development rights, and expedited plan reviews for housing projects. These laws govern how the city must evaluate housing proposals that include affordable units with the intent of encouraging more affordable homeownership. We heard at the meetings comments generally about the scale of the community, privacy, vehicular movement, and community design in general. We also heard comments about wildlife, trees, and affordable housing. Concerning the vehicular movements, neighbors were initially concerned that the project would attempt to connect a street through the city yard to East Walnut Avenue in the southern portion of the site, impacting residents of East Ada and East Walnut with new trips. We also heard from some neighbors who expressed concern about the potential for an easterly connection over Big Dalton Wash, and it could impact residents of East Cossack's Place. These hypothetical scenarios are technically infeasible and were never contemplated in the proposed site plan. Other vehicular concerns included increased vehicle trips onto East Woodland Lane, conflict with construction vehicles, increased wait times at Foothill Boulevard, increased trips onto South San Jose Drive, emergency vehicle access on San Jose Drive, and construction vehicles entering from San Jose Drive. To address these concerns, we mitigated through some design features, including traffic calming chokers to slow vehicles and provide better visibility at pedestrian crossings. 90-degree bend in the street to slow vehicles on Woodland Lane, shown here. And pedestrian crossings at the choker locations to provide better visibility for pedestrians and motorists. Residents of East Woodland Lane were concerned about increased vehicle trips. A request to split the street network was logged by Olson at the community meetings and was discussed with staff. It is understandable that residents near the Woodland dead end would be concerned about the street, connecting the street, given that the unfinished street condition has been there for quite a while. We understand that the new development will bring additional vehicle trips onto Woodland. Staff addressed this with the traffic study and mentioned it in the report. The proposed community includes 41 single-family homes and single-story and two-story plans. There will be 7 moderate-income homes, as Yeleni mentioned, located throughout the community. The community will feature 2 amenitized open spaces and preservation of a minimum of 11 mature oak trees. There are 2 larger amenity areas. Lot A is located in the north half of the site, shown here. It will include meandering pathways, a large circular deck with lounge chairs, a play area with a turf lawn, natural landscape, and preservation of 4 existing mature oaks. Lot C, located in the south portion of the site, south of San Jose Drive, will feature a covered outdoor dining pavilion, a second large circular deck area with lounge chairs, a turf area, natural landscape, and preservation of 4 mature oak trees. Just quickly running through the site plan, Lot A open space is located here. The site plan will feature public streets which extend and connect Woodland and South San Jose Drive. On-street public parking is provided, approximately 34 spaces. Enhanced paving at the crosswalks will be a design and safety feature. Where feasible, we will preserve oak trees. The streets will include 5-foot sidewalks with 5-foot parkways on both sides of South San Jose and most of East Woodland Lane. We will install approximately 50 new street trees. The new cul-de-sac at the southern terminus of South San Jose Lane will meet Los Angeles County fire turnaround standards, correcting a public safety problem at that location. Lot C open space is located there at the south. The open spaces, as well as the parkway and front yards, will be maintained by the Homeowners Association. All new homes will feature privately maintained rear yards. The homes will have full driveways for parking off-street. And finally, a new masonry perimeter wall will be constructed around the entire project perimeter. Briefly, the architecture, we did select a contemporary prairie-style design. It was chosen to complement the materials and look of many of the existing homes in the neighborhood. Includes hipped roofs, decorative bay windows, stucco cladding, a decorative garage doors, stucco site walls that were exposed to public view, builder-installed front yard landscaping, brick cladding, decorative light fixtures, decorative entry doors, vinyl windows, and composition shingle roofs. This is an artist's concept of the view looking south from the terminus of South San Jose Drive, looking toward the Lot C amenity area. You can see the mature oak trees preserved in the background. And this is a street scene looking south on Woodland towards the 90-degree bend. Again, you can see a choker extending into the street. That's positioned there to preserve an oak tree in place. And that concludes my presentation. I'll be available, and I do have my consultant team here as well to answer any questions you may have. I appreciate your time in considering this matter this evening.
Thank you, Brian. Okay, at this time, I will open for public testimony or question. We have one card. I will extend the opportunity, even though you've sent in some previous documents to the packet. But Mr. Steve Kerman, I'll offer you 3 minutes, sir. Yeah, spun a neck bearing there, huh? Uh-oh.
Yes, yes.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for the time. I'm Steve Kerman. I'm a resident 64 years, actually all of it on Woodland Lane. So I'm kind of speaking on behalf on the Woodland Lane side of the project to ask for your support and in favor of implementing one of the traffic control mitigation proposals, I'll call it. Since we first learned of the project, the community has voiced concern about the increase in traffic, as Brian had mentioned. This should be no surprise. I'm just going to remind you of some of the concerns and offer some suggestions on how to potentially mitigate that. Just to put it in perspective, there's 6 homes on Woodland Lane right now, so just 6 new homes in a project, we've just increased 100%. The way the plan is put in place now with the 41 homes and the connection to San Jose, there's a good potential that traffic is going to come from San Jose through the Woodland neighborhood. Now we're talking 1,600% increase in traffic potential. So a couple of ways to mitigate, create that third access point. And Brian had mentioned that over to Cossex, St. Vladimir, or there's an easement down there, and just that added access point fixes everything. Everybody has an added way to get in or out. The other item is to install a traffic signal at San Jose and Foothill. They are backed up from Valley Center to the new traffic signal on Elwood down Foothill during the morning commute for the high school and commute. Go sit around there for a time. I mean, that is not a safe intersection. The other thought was to install a gate between the San Jose and Woodland and kind of split it up and kind of ease the pain a little bit on the Woodland side. Maybe a 450% increase in traffic. That's a lot better than 1,600%. And I think the community on our side, the Woodland, would be in agreement to that. Probably still recommend that traffic signal at San Jose. The final thought would be to added slowdown of the traffic by putting some speed bumps throughout that community and put them on the Woodland Lane as well. We all know Ada going from like Glenwood to Cullen, where they put those speed bumps, that's stopping everybody looking for that quick shortcut. And I think by putting them through that community, it's going to keep people from, they're going to second guess trying to make that quick access because it won't be quick anymore if you put some speed bumps in there. I mean, I think that's a quick, easy fix for the community. Thanks for listening and recognizing our safety in our community is our paramount concern for sure. A lot of kids are playing in our neighborhood still, and please don't let a delay in the project trump safety for our community. Questions for me?
Thank you, Mr. Kerman.
Thank you.
At this point, we'll take that advisement and next up, offer Mr. Geis a chance if he has any rebuttal or account. No? Seeing none? Thank you. I will close the public testimony at this time and bring it back to panel for discussion. And Mr. Thompson, would you like to begin?
Brian, so out of the 41 homes, single-story account for how many homes? 7? Was
7, that's correct.
Okay, and out of the remaining, obviously they're two-story homes. Are there any of those that have a bedroom on the first floor?
Yes.
And how many of
Roughly,
those?
I want to say between 14 and 16 have a bedroom
Okay.
down.
You got my vote. So I'm an old guy, And there's young people that could be buying these homes, but when you're an old guy like I am, you hate stairs. And so I always push for a bedroom like on the bottom floor, because someday you're going to be as old as me, and you're not going to like stairs, especially when you go up to bed. So thank you for that.
We felt it was important.
I really like it. I like the way that I've heard that you have interacted with neighbors. I know that can be a daunting task at times, but I've heard good things about the patience, the diligence, and the listening that you and your team did. So I really appreciate that, because there's going to be more homes built, and we need guys like you to do that. I would support speed bumps. I agree with everything that the speaker just said, and I'm not in favor of a gate. Those things can be rigged, and they create all kinds of problems. So I would be supportive of looking at installing some bumps to limit speed. Lastly, I'm thankful that a traffic study was done. I think it answers a lot of questions that some people had, at least, and I think it was a good thing that either you guys did it or staff insisted on doing it. But anyway, it was done, so thank you. And that's all. I support it.
Thank you, Mendel. And it's a good thing for that downstairs, because as we see, nobody leaves town, so they're here for long years, so that's good. All right, very good. Karen?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I know it's hard for you to guess this because the market's always changing, but with those 7 homes, what would you guesstimate that moderate price point is? Or could you?
Yes, around $365,000, and a household of 4 would be making around $130,000 to qualify.
So to provide those 7 families an opportunity to buy a single-family home in Glendora, that in and of itself is amazing. But in addition, I live south of Foothill, near Elwood and Lorraine. And so prior to the traffic light being at Elwood, as it was shared, getting onto Foothill at school time, either in the morning or the afternoon, was horrendous. So just one thing I wondered with San Jose, we encourage folks not to block that intersection, but people are not always the best drivers, especially if they're in a hurry to get to school. Is there any way to put any flashing lights there? Because I know that it did not warrant the traffic light, but is there any other mitigation, maybe some flashing lights or ways to encourage people to be good neighbors and not to block people on San Jose trying to get out onto Foothill, or any thoughts on that?
A traffic engineer is here. He might be better able to
Okay.
answer that question. Alex?
And then I'll ask you about the chokers too. Thank you.
Good evening, Alex Sabrizi with Matt Engineering. I prepared the traffic study for the project. So as you mentioned, San Jose does not satisfy the minimum traffic volume requirements to install a traffic signal. You can have the keep clear sign, and as you mentioned, a lot of people ignore that. You could put the flashing light, the requirements to satisfy before you can put that in. But at the end of the day, it becomes the same thing. It's more visible, so people will see it better than the keep clear sign on the pavement. But again, it becomes an issue of enforcement as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you could get some better performance, again, if you meet those criteria for installing that flashing signal. But overall, it could be the same issue as well.
So I'm sure Captain Gold would be happy to work on the enforcement
Issue
part of
some
that.
tickets, correct.
But yeah, okay. Well, I was just wondering if that would be another form of any type of mitigation that we could do short of that traffic light, since it didn't meet that requirement. So thank you.
Yes. Yep.
And then the chokers, is that where the curbing moves in?
That's correct, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
With the idea that folks hopefully will slow down. I know since we have modified the intersection at right outside LaFetra Center there at Minnesota and Foothill, that people, when they see those cones, slow down, or maybe they might be one of the ones who've caused them to be replaced. But I do notice more people braking when they come there just because of that visual. So maybe those chokers will do the same thing. So, the speed bumps, another name for those are sleeping police. The idea that you see those and it causes people to slow down, but I don't know what would need to be the requirement to get those in there. But of course, that is another way. But I think the homes overall provide another much-needed amenity to the community. We don't have that price point right now of those 7 homes. And then the other additional single-family homes, very nicely done, and will provide some families an opportunity to stay in Glendora. So thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Shauna?
Thank you, and thank you, Brian. I'll first say I appreciate your willingness to engage with the community on many, many different occasions. You've also been fantastic in sharing information with us, and I appreciate that. Is it possible to pull up a slide, the slide before the one titled Vehicular Mitigation? It had like a little map. Oh, we're going way, way back.
A lot of clicks here. Overall.
Right there.
That one.
Okay, so I was looking at this. I know one of the concerns that some of the community members had brought up at different meetings were like that people would cut through. Do we know if there are right now people cutting through Trainer to Carroll? Is that like a thing? That's a thing, okay.
And fast, very fast.
I mean, it feels like that one's a little bit more of a direct shot. I will say I'm a mom. I have young kids, and I absolutely hear the concerns about safety. I do like the development. I think that it will add to our community. I wonder, I think I share the interest in maybe looking at like speed bumps, but I don't know if through the new development, but maybe on Woodland and through there. I don't know. I don't know enough about how the speed bumps work, but I don't know, maybe if we could look into that, that might be interesting. I don't like the idea of closing it off. I think I do like how the development sits. I think it looks beautiful. The renderings are amazing. I think this will, add to our community. So I'm looking forward to that. But, if we can maybe help slow people down, that's not a bad thing. So, that's it for me.
Okay, thank you, Shauna. Michael?
Thank you, David. Brian, well done with this, and the outreach that you did was impressive. A lot of comments, a lot of crosstalk, lots of emails from the residents and everything. Can you go to the slide where it shows the homes that are kind of in a line? Are all the streets or the little side streets, are they the same level as the street, or is it a drive? Like down at the bottom there, you have the 5 homes that are right there on the bottom?
Yeah, that's a driveway at the bottom.
So it's raised like a driveway then? It's not even with the rest of the street?
Correct.
Okay. What does it take to put speed bumps in on Woodland? Is it something that's,
I think there's a broader conversation here about speed bumps, not just here. Bill, if you wouldn't mind sharing some information on speed bumps. Apologies for that, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Bill, welcome.
City Manager, good evening, Mayor, Council. Being that I'm not a traffic engineer, we do have our consultant traffic engineer. I'd like to bring Steve up to the podium, and I think he'd be more suited to answer those questions. So Steve, if you could come up.
No one wants to talk about speed bumps. Here we go.
Now I know why I was invited to the meeting. Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Steve Itagaki with JMD. I'm the consultant traffic engineer for the city of Glendora. So what was the question specifically?
what does it take to put speed
You
bumps
shared
in?
with us a little bit just about speed bumps overall. It sounds like there's a greater concern in other areas as well. So I think
Yes.
for the council's education, would you mind sharing a little bit about speed bumps?
Sure. Speed bumps is a traffic calming device. It is something that was brought up to implement this in the neighborhood. Typically, when you apply for speed humps, it's usually the residents that live directly in front of the affected area, not necessarily from the residents that are outside. But in this case, it kind of makes sense. Now, speed bumps is something that we do have a policy in place where you do have to, how should I say, meet some criteria in order for it to be implemented. But there is a cost involved. And most of the time when we get a request for speed humps, typically we have to bear the cost with the residents who are trying to implement it. So it involves not just the analysis to do the speed hump criteria and meeting that criteria, but also the implementation of it. And sometimes when you do the speed hump implementation, sometimes it has a backlash effect. The residents don't like it because they have to drive this thing every single day. And so they ask to remove it. And again, there's another cost to remove it as well. And then you have to look at other types of traffic calming devices to solve the problem.
So since this is a new development, what kind of costs are you talking about? Or is it something that we have to do as ordinances with our street policies?
It's not for me to say, but since it's going to be developed as part of the development, it'll be borne by the developer.
So how many speed bumps would be in order for Woodland?
You can't have them too close together, and you can't have them too far again. So you would have to look at the site plan itself, and it'll have to be engineered to determine the exact locations for it. You just can't randomly place them anywhere. But in this case, you probably need about 2 or 3 of them.
So Brian, what kind of a discussion did you have with the residents concerning speed bumps? You didn't have any?
Good evening, council members. John Reekston with the Olson Company. Yeah, I didn't have much discussion on speed humps, and we would defer to staff on the issue overall in terms of input, but not much discussion with the neighbors on speed humps.
My little car, I'm not so fond of speed bumps. It's a little skateboard, so timeline. Once this is approved, what's the timeline for construction?
If our application is approved tonight, we would close escrow towards the end of November, and we would start grading in late January. And site improvement would be 5 to 8 months, and then model homes would be starting towards the end of '26.
Okay. Thank you for that. Very nice project. I know we met a couple times on this, so thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Couple of questions. I would like to applaud the fact that there are 4 side elevations. That's very attractive as opposed to just the face and the other 3 sides got forgotten. I traveled a bit this past recess and I saw a whole lot of forgotten sides. So I think it's a neat, complete process. I also applaud the traffic study and the extra effort to do so. Thank you for that. It's interesting that we have a large development on the west side of town with 131 homes, and I'm in it a lot. I don't live there, but I'm in it a lot. And I assure you, I don't know when those people move. I don't know when they come, when they go. 131 homes, I never see, I'm the only one moving in it, and I'm there different days of the week, times of the day, so I want to be optimistic and hope that the impact on the surrounding neighborhood is as minimal as it is in the larger neighborhood. I know a lot of effort's been looked at that and at the traffic study, and lots of pluses and minuses. Other than that, I don't have any other comments. I will announce that for the record, the public can go onto the agenda and see that there was a correspondence received today, I believe, earlier in the day, with a lot of more information than 3 minutes might be able to share. So they're certainly welcome to look at that. And it has been shared before, so it's a worthy look.
Mr. Mayor, I did have one question I
Yes,
forgot
please.
to ask. Lot A, B, and C, those are open to the outside neighborhood as well, is that correct? Is that what I'm understanding, that open space, so that neighbors along San Jose or Woodland could avail themselves of those open spaces? Okay, great, thank you very much. And
Any other
thank you for that
questions?
amenity.
I have one more
Shauna,
question.
please.
So back to the speed bumps. It's an interesting thing to point out that it could actually end up being problematic for the residents that are going, if you live there and you're in and out every day, it would be unfortunate if we moved forward with something like that and then you ended up hating it. If we moved ahead without that and to see if it is a problem. I mean, I assume on Ada, those speed bumps came, after that street was developed. Is that something that could be considered if and when there's a problem?
Just real quick about the speed bumps.
Yes.
I live on Burnaby. You both do. Can you please?
Can you come up here so we can, the folks at home can hear you
My
also?
name is Kathy Pinkstaff. I live on Burnaby. I own one of the houses there. And Susan is my next door neighbor. And you can come off Stephan, off Lorraine. A lot of people do, and they go up Burnaby to go out through Trainer, and they go really fast. And speed bumps are something that we've talked about because we're old in the neighborhood now. We have a lot of new young families with small children. They put out those little plastic men to keep people from going fast through the neighborhood. It doesn't help. They still fly through the neighborhood. So speed bumps not only on Woodland, which is the very short cul-de-sac that's going to go into that, off of Burnaby. Burnaby and Stephan, the traffic is very, very fast.
So fast that the car has come into my grass.
Yeah, up her curb. They go really fast.
They are certainly plus
When my
minus.
kids were little, I used to stand out in the street and yell at them and stop them and
Okay.
seriously, like,
All right.
it was ridiculous.
Mr.
Now my
Whitco-
kids are older, but we have a whole new generation of young families.
Mr. Whitkoff?
All right? Thank you.
I'll also mention that they told us they were going to repave Woodland after the project, so that would be the time to knock out a couple of speed bumps while they're paving the entire project.
So as Steve had mentioned, we do have a process if residents would like to request speed bumps. So I think maybe the best thing we could do is just get the contact information for those residents. We can start that process and kind of go through that analysis. We could have Steve take a look at that and see how many would be appropriate for that area, and then we can talk to Olson Company about that as well and work through that process. But I think it would be important that we get their contact information, we walk them through that process. We follow our standard process. It's been designed for the city to do that rather than try and make that decision right here. We'd want to get the rest of the neighbors to be able to weigh into that as well. There are definitely benefits to speed bumps as far as traffic calming, but we have also seen there have been instances where when you put a speed bump in, the speed between the bumps is actually faster than the medium speed would have been beforehand because people are subconsciously trying to make up for the speed or time that they lost in their mind going over the speed bump. So I think we just need to have a more holistic discussion with that to make sure everybody's aware of what those issues could be and go through that process that we have established.
Thank you, Bill. And I will share with you, you get to hear speed bumps also.
Yes.
You may not want to hear a bump, bump all day. So that's a reality. Pardon? Yeah, well, it's true. Okay.
Mayor, can I,
Please, Michael.
so is that acceptable to do, not hold the project up, but to have this conversation to go forward?
I think we would try to separate the issue.
Correct.
Take the project and take the speed bumps as two
Correct.
separate
That's
issues.
what I'm
So
asking, if they're okay with
Yeah.
that.
A subsequent
Yeah,
consequence
yes.
if necessary.
That's correct.
Okay.
I'm seeing yeses and nos. Looks like the yeses have it.
Okay, at this point, so no other comments from the dais, I would like to ask if there's a motion. Not e-motion, a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I would move to approve the recommendations 1 and 2 as shown by staff.
I'll second.
A motion by Mr.
With the
Thompson.
requested amendment to the resolution as outlined by staff during the presentation.
Yes.
A second by,
You took the words
Yes.
right out of my mouth, as you always do.
the motion as presented with the amendment. Okay,
I did.
seconded by Mr. Alalos. Please vote. Pierre's motion has carried unanimously 5-0. Thank you to the Olson Company. Thank you for being community partners. That brings us to the consent calendar, items 4 through 10. On the consent calendar, items may be enacted in one motion without individual discussion unless a member of council wishes to pull an item for separate discussion. On items 4 through 10, does anyone wish to pull an item?
No,
Hearing no, do I have a motion, please?
I'll move items 4 through 10 on the consent.
I'll second it.
Motion by Mr. Alawas, second by Mrs. Davis. Please vote. Motions 4 through 10 carry unanimously. Thank you very much. Item 11, an agreement with Streetlight Restoration Specialists, Inc. for the restoration of antique streetlights in the amount of $226,240. And I would like to invite Assistant Public Works Director Valerie Velasquez Santoya to report. Welcome back.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, and good evening, Council. So for quick background, the antique streetlights were originally installed in 1911 and 1914, primarily along Glendora Avenue, Vista Bonita, and Wabash Avenue between Sierra Madre Avenue and Ada Avenue, as shown on the highlighted segments of the following map. Nearly 100 years later, in 2004, the lights were shut off as a safety precaution as the poles were observed to have some corrosion, hazardous wiring, and pole-based damage. So despite a state grant and city allocation for restoration, several initiatives to establish an antique streetlight district for the ongoing service and maintenance of the streetlights failed to pass, with the most recent effort occurring in 2023. So with that effort, multiple efforts failing, the remaining antique streetlights were removed and kept in storage until a viable restoration plan was in place. So the antique streetlights will now be incorporated into the Glendora People Movement Project with a reinstallation along Glendora Avenue as part of the first and last mile segment, which is currently under design. Design of the first last mile segment is expected to be completed later this year or early next. With that understanding, staff sought to get the restoration of the streetlights underway. The restoration of these streetlights requires a highly skilled contractor, as it is a niche skill that requires rare expertise and specialized equipment. Staff sought a contractor with the necessary expertise, reached out to SCAG as well as Alta Planning, the design team for the People Movement Project, both of which pointed to streetlight restoration specialists. Staff then requested a proposal for the restoration of these antique streetlights. So the scope of the restoration will include restoration of 70 antique streetlights. We'll go ahead and select 70 of the best from the stockpile of 109. The poles will then have the paint removed, be treated for rust, and there will be an application of a high-performance primer, application of a high-performance engineered coating in a preferred color. The inner rods will all be fabricated for new inner rods, and then they will go ahead and provide us with 80 new Acorn-style globes. While we're going to have 70 poles restored, it'll go ahead and provide us with 10 extras, so we'll have those for future use, as well as 80 bases and the corncob LED lamps, again, providing us with 10 spares for future use. And then all work will be done at the city corporate yard, so they'll bring in shipping containers that will be a working space for the contractor to work at our yard. So the proposed agreement before you this evening is with the contractor Streetlight Restoration Specialist. They have stated they can have the work completed within a 9-month term period. The cost would be $226,240, about $3,200 per pole, and we'll also be requesting a 10% contingency as well. A formal procurement process was not conducted for this project. As mentioned, the work requires a very specialized contractor's license. Streetlight Restoration is the premier contractor for this type of work and is the pioneer experts in this niche field. They are the first contractor and the only one that I found to be listed on the Contractor State License Board that has been issued the specific C61 D64 license, which is for light pole restoration. They have proprietary equipment as well that allows them the capability of manufacturing parts if necessary, as a lot of these cannot be found since they are antique poles. So their unique licensing expertise and proven experience of restoring the historic light poles provides them with the opportunity to fit within the requirements of our Glendora Municipal Code, which allows for a sole source procurement. So tonight, the antique lights restoration project is included within the fiscal year 25-26 capital improvement project approved budget. The cost of the agreement would be for $226,240. The 10% contingency at $22,624 provides the total requested amount of $248,864. The budgeted amount for this year is $265,648, which relieves a remaining balance within this year's budget of $16,784. So the recommendation this evening is for council to award the agreement to Streetlight Restoration Specialists for the restoration of the antique streetlights in the amount of $226,240, to authorize the 10% contingency, and to authorize the Public Works Director to execute any necessary changes, and as authorize the city manager or his designee to execute the agreement. And with that, I'll return it to council for any questions.
Thank you, Valerie. Wonderful presentation. This time I'll bring it back for questions and comments. Karen, start with you.
Thank you, sir. I know when the street lights were removed, that one of the conversations that came up more than once was, well, is there something else we could do with those to pay tribute to them? And this was the idea that was recommended as part of an entrance and gateway to the city from the train station. So that's great that you were able to find someone that could help accommodate that and make that happen. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Karen. Shauna?
Thank you, Valerie. I think, is Alicia in the audience still? I live in this area as well and we lost our light too. And I just want to make sure that it's clear, like they weren't removed in order to put them on Glendora Avenue. That was, like Karen said, it was the best option, like once they were removed, to be able to reuse them, which I think is a fantastic idea. I would love them in our neighborhood, but I think that's the next best option. So I am really glad to see that that we're doing this, because I went door to door and tried to save our streetlights. But anyways, I support this, and I'm looking forward to seeing them out on Glendora Avenue.
Thank you, Shauna. Mendel?
Good job. I support it.
Okay, great. Michael?
Very good, Valerie. How did you find the one vendor? Because I know that has been a struggle for such a long time to find somebody who can restore these.
We did reach out to SCAG as well as the designer that's working on the People Movement Project, Alta Planning, and both came with the same recommendation. And again, they're the first and, as far as I could find, the only with that specific license. So it was a recommendation, and they came highly recommended.
I know, because that was a challenge for quite some time. It was brought up on the balance of the streetlights. If they're not being used or we don't choose to refurbish them, can any of the citizens purchase them?
Once we complete the project, we don't even know how many viable we have. I know when we took some down, there were several that were filled with concrete, for example. So once the process is done, if there is a surplus, the city will outline the process for those to be acquired.
Okay. Any ideas on the color? And not just the color, but when they were in the historic areas, they had the sign on their historic district. And I know where we're planning on moving them is not going to be historic district, but the kind of it goes part and parcel with the lights themselves. Do you think they would be attached, even though it's not in the historic district, but the lights originally were?
I'll rely on the instruction from council, from city manager.
I don't know about direction from me, Valerie, but probably not the historic district sign. I think we've replaced a lot of those historic district signs, but I do know what you're talking about. So was your other question just on that clarification on color? Color?
One was color, and one, they have the historic sign that's on their historic district that was part of them, even though when we're going to place them, they're not going to be in a district.
Yeah, there's a tiny little sign that was.
Yeah, those signs were removed and,
Yeah.
and replaced in the areas that were already historic. So that was part of the city's sign project from
Right.
last strategic plan, I believe.
Right.
So no, I don't believe those signs will be on there.
Okay. Last question. The funding for this, is this from the grant that we received?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I don't think every light had those signs, just some
No.
of them. Because the ones that were by Glendora and Bennett did not have those signs.
True. Thank you. I think it's important to note that I did the math. I got my calculator out, and wow, only $3,200 each to refurbish. What a deal. Why didn't we do it when they were in place? Folks, the real answer is the infrastructure to support turning those on was the deal breaker, not the $3,200 to restore the light. So I'll ask that devil's advocate question, and there's your answer. With that, I don't have any others other than, there's a reference to an item, a corn cob something.
The globe.
No, that was an acorn
The
globe.
lamps.
There you go. It's corn cob LED light. Oh, is that, okay, that's the
the lamp.
picture inside in the type of, right.
Yes.
I saw lots of corn recently. I think I know what that looks like. All right, good deal. I support this. No more questions, and I'll ask, do we have a motion for?
I'll move items 1 through 4.
There is 4. You're correct. My
1 through
PowerPoint
4, okay.
was not updated, so there is 4.
All right, great. Do I have a second?
3 here. Huh?
It's 4 on the,
A second.
Oh, the staff report. I'm looking on the slide.
And number 1 is broken up into 2 on the.
There you go. Okay.
So 1 and 2, and then 3.
Valerie's fault.
Yeah.
That's all right. Hey, we're in a no-fault state here. Okay.
Well, Kyle is doing the finance.
Yeah, that's right. A motion by Mr. Alawis. Do we have a second?
Second.
A second by Mr. Thompson, and ask if we would please vote. Motion carries 5 yeas, no nays. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Valerie.
Thank you.
Thanks, Valerie. Moving on to item 12, a consideration of a memorandum of understanding with Three Valleys Municipal Water District for the Water Use Efficiency Dashboard Project and receive an update on the urban water use objective. And reporting is Senior Management Analyst, that's not calling you old, that's just, okay, Russell Ackerman. Hi, Russell.
Good evening. Good evening, Mayor Friedendahl, council members. Tonight I'll be providing a water conservation program update that includes the Urban Water Management Plan, Urban Water Use Objective Update, and the Memorandum of Understanding regarding the Water Use Efficiency Dashboard Project with Three Valleys. These items highlight our commitment to interagency partnerships that help us meet our local and regional water conservation goals. The first item to present is the Regional Urban Water Management Plan. The Urban Water Management Planning Act of California requires urban water suppliers to update and submit an urban water management plan every 5 years to achieve efficient water use and strengthen local drought planning. To meet this requirement, Three Valleys Municipal Water District has agreed to serve as the leading agency in the development of a regional urban water management plan on behalf of 6 of its member agencies, including the City of Glendora. The plan will address our local water shortage contingency plans, but also for the first time, demand projections that include urban water use objective reduction targets. The city has signed the Memorandum of Understanding with Three Valleys to provide a portion of the co-funding of the Regional Urban Water Management Plan, up to $35,000. The final plan will be brought before City Council in the spring of next year. The next item is the Urban Water Use Objective Update. Staff continues to monitor water usage. The Urban Water Use Objective is based on fiscal year water use. This graph shows that fiscal year 23-24 compared to 24-25, there was an overall increase of 16.59%. Less rainfall could have contributed to this increase, but this is also very typical in non-drought years with a lack of media coverage on conservation. Our urban water use objective reduction target was 20.3 for fiscal year 24-25. I'll be discussing some of the issues regarding reduction target numbers further, but based on future estimates, Glendora will likely follow the alternative compliance pathway to meet the water reduction requirements. This means we must show that we're reducing our per capita urban water use by an average of no less than 2% per year, as shown by data from the reporting year in the immediate preceding 2 years from our average per capita annual water use for the fiscal years 24, 25, and next year 26. This pathway requires a certification process and a detailed plan outlining the path to compliance. Staff are working on both and will provide periodic updates to council in the coming months. This slide is courtesy of CalWeb, shows how the urban water use objective is actually calculated using various data sources from multiple inputs. However, we're finding discrepancies in the data itself, prompting further investigation into data integrity across multiple agencies. For example, our service area map for Glendora Water is not consistent from agency to agency. Since that will affect the objectives formula and possibly neighboring agencies, that data must be validated first before actual reduction targets are confirmed. Once the data has been validated, there is a process for submitting the data changes requests to the state. However, it may take a year or more before the data changes take effect. On this slide, the orange and black boxes represent data that we must either provide to the state ourselves or validate the data given to us by the state. This data is dependent on aerial imagery, which brings me to the next item. In July 2024, Three Valleys was awarded $84,391 through the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation's Applied Science Grant Program to support its water use efficiency dashboard project. This project is a regional initiative with the city of Laverne aimed at enhancing landscape water use efficiency by conducting aerial imagery analysis and land use classification for all commercial, industrial, and institutional, as well as residential parcels within the city of Glendora's service area, all of which are components of the urban water use objective. The project will also include a regional landscape analysis to help categorize non-functional turf grass areas. As this slide shows, compliance with the ban on irrigating non-functional turf begins in 2027. A memorandum understanding with Three Valleys has been developed to co-fund a regional water use efficiency dashboard. This dashboard will be used to validate the data for urban water use reporting purposes. It will also significantly reduce the tremendous amount of time required by staff to collect, analyze, and validate data. It can be a valuable tool in helping reach our water conservation goals while giving us a clearer picture of future water reduction objectives. So staff recommends to receive and file the urban water use objective update and authorize and approve to enter into an interagency service and co-funding memorandum of understanding agreement with Three Valleys Municipal Water District for the water use efficiency dashboard project in an amount not to exceed $70,224. And that concludes my presentation.
Great, thank you, Russell. I'll bring it back to council for any questions or discussions. And start with Michael.
Thank you for your presentation. You had a chart on there about turf removal and things of that nature. Is there a calculation in there for growth for new development of how that plays into the water reduction requirement?
So any sort of new developments will be built to the current state landscape standards. So they're already, in essence, meeting the standard by virtue of meeting the current state law requirements. So if a new landscape goes in, it's being built at that same formula that they're projecting for 2040, but it's being built today at that standard.
But if you're adding more volume with a new building?
Right, so then you would have more population, so then that would be added into...
Oh, it's population-based.
Right, the population base would be in, and then that building would be built to Cal Green Building standards, so the fixtures inside would be water efficient and in some way meeting the indoor standard as well.
So we can actually have more volume, but actually still meet it because of the more folks that are living in the area.
Right, it's any addition is added to the overall objective.
Okay, thank you.
Great, thank you, Michael. Shauna?
Thank you, Russell. No questions for me.
Okay. Mendel?
No, thank you.
Karen? No? Okay. I have none other than a little disappointed. I thought we were on mark for actually conserving closer to that 20%, and to see must be me having to refill my pool. Anybody want a pool? Oh, okay. Great. Thank you, and obviously the collaborative effort with Three Valleys is a good program. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to accept the consideration for the memorandum.
I'll move items 1 through 2.
Second.
Okay, motion by Michael, second by Mendel, and ask us to vote, please. Motion passes unanimously, 5-0. Very good. Thanks, sir. At this time, I will announce that item 13 that might have been on the agenda that people saw is being continued to the next.
Kyle, would you like to come forward and show your little paper? I know you wanted to before, so Mayor, if you could please.
Well, I was going to make him sit here for nothing, but that's okay.
If you could please entertain our finance director.
Kyle Johnson, welcome.
All right, so I guess you thought you were going to get away with one night without me speaking about lots of numbers. So one night reprieve, but we are getting ready to send out the budget and brief, so that will be going out in everybody's bills in the next couple of weeks. So it'll look like this. It's quarter fold, so 4 pages or 4 sections, front and back. That'll be going out. I know Councilmember Davis and Councilmember Thompson always look forward to it, as well as the rest of the members, but Councilmember Thompson does bring it to the budget meetings that we have in the spring. Make sure you keep me honest.
And I love that it's a budget and brief.
Yes.
And I do not want to hear that somebody didn't get it.
Yeah, yes. But, so that's it. So I'll be back. We did get the final draft, but it was 6 o'clock tonight and when we got it. So we will have everything in hand, so we'll be ready to present in
We
the first
stalled
meeting in
3.5
September.
hours for you. You didn't
Yeah,
know this.
that's true. Let me run and get it.
Very
I'll
good.
print it.
Okay. Thank
Right,
you,
thank you.
Kyle. Always a pleasure. All right. With that, I'll bring it back for any closing comments. Are there any? Seeing none, okay. As a reminder, we are adjourning tonight in memory of our former mayor, Lois Shade. And I believe we'd like to do a council member photo in front of the photo of Lois. Can we do that? If we can find that photo and put it up once again, please. And our sincere sympathy to her family and friends, and it is a great loss. With that, I adjourn the meeting at 9:29.